What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode. Another special guest in the building goes by the name Eze.
What's good, guys? What's good?
You know, his team just became European champions, European giants for the
Yeah,
second time in their club history.
Yeah, man.
Man, nice to see you, man. Nice to see you back in the. Nice to see you back on the show. Nice to see
Sure,
you,
sure.
smiling because I know when we spoke back in January, you were optimistic about Frank Lampard. Obviously, not in a delusional way,
Yeah,
but you wanted to see a new manager, but you also were between the lines of, you know what, maybe Frank could get the job done.
yeah.
How are you feeling, man?
Uh, well, first couple things. Now that I'm back on the show, I've seen some improvements. I see the intro now. The intro looks fire, bro.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
I respect that. You guys are upgraded over here. That's good to see. That's good to see. And then, of course, huge win for Chelsea, man. I was saying before the broadcast started, I don't even know what to say, man. It's going to take a good amount of time for it to sink in. It's fantastic. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, what was your obviously we didn't do a pre-show before the game. Sorry about that. We didn't do a pre-show before the game.
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into that game? Did you feel like you guys everyone had a chance? Did you feel like it was going to be a long night of City possession? And how were you feeling going into that game?
Dog, I was having dreams for the past 4 or 5 days about how we're gonna win it. Honestly, I felt like it was a premonition of sorts. I was so confident we're gonna win. I don't know what it was. Something just leading into it. It felt like it was right, like it was destiny or something like that. I don't know. I had the same kind of feeling when we won it back in 2012. Just something was just in the air. When Torres scored that goal against Barcelona. You come into the game against Bayern in Germany. They score for it. Like it just felt right. It felt right, and it felt right again yesterday. I would have thought in my mind, I was thinking it's destiny for Mount to we want to score it and win it for us. I really thought Mount was going to do it, but he played an amazing ball into Havertz, and he was fantastic, and we won the game. But yeah, to answer your question, I was super confident going into it. Super confident.
Yeah, that's good, man. Like, because we've kind of seen the journey of Chelsea over the season. It feels like Chelsea had 4 seasons in 1 year. When you think about obviously with COVID and just the season going to a halt, and then obviously Frank did a great job in taking your team to 4th place. You guys qualified for Champions League on the last day.
Yep.
Last season and also this season as well. And most people would have said, Frank Lampard, he took a youth team to finish 4th place in the league, and with no transfer window. The natural thing and the first thing would have been over when Chelsea was struggling in the league this season. I think you guys were sitting on like 10th place. Yeah. Everyone could have easily said, look at what Frank has done last season. Give him time. It's a new group of players. It's a new crop of players. Give him time. And your boss. I remember I told you this a long time ago, and I said, I'm not worried about Chelsea because you have an owner who wants to win. You don't have an owner who is thinking business. He's thinking, I need to win trophies, especially when he's got his personal money on the line, right?
Yeah, so, a lot of money.
Yeah, so seeing you guys season, man, is fantastic, and how you guys, from the moment Tuchel took over, it was, he implemented his blueprint of what he wanted to do. You could see from the first game against Wolves, you could see it right away what he was trying to implement, and sometimes a lot of teams fall short. It could have just been that new, because everyone had the huge question marks. Is it just a new manager bounce? Is it just a new, just a new feeling? Is it just whatever? But these players have, stood up to the challenge, and you guys have proved to the world that it wasn't a fluke. You guys actually deserve this win, man.
No, definitely not. And like, people need to understand, like, a couple things. One, we're top of our group, right? We had Sevilla in our group. We beat them, I think twice actually. And then we played Atletico. No one gave us a real shot against Atletico. They were top of the league at the time. Ended up winning the Spanish league. Then we had Porto. Okay, They beat Juve, just so everybody understands. They beat Juve.
Yeah.
Run of form. We handled them. We had the former, 2 years ago, the former European champions in Real Madrid handled them, and they played probably the best team in England, well, maybe even in the world at this point with Man City, the crazy squad that they have, and we were by far the better team. So it's not. I don't think it's not a fluke thing. It's not we were definitely the best team, I think, in that tournament. And honestly, maybe besides maybe Bayern, I'm always a little bit afraid of Bayern. But if you would have played any other team in that finals, I think we would have won. Honestly, yeah. I really, really do. I think we would have won. If it was PSG, if it was, I don't know, Juve, if it was Barca, any team like that, I think on that night we would have beat any one of those guys. So well deserved for sure.
No, that's so true, man. I remember I kept saying, I think it was the semis, and I had watched Chelsea enough, and I remember I kept saying that Chelsea is the only team that can beat Man City, that has a chance. Because I looked at Real Madrid and I said, man, that would be a long night for Real Madrid if they made it to the finals. Even though, I always look at Real Madrid as that team that if they make it to the finals, it's a game. It's game over. Just hand it over to them. But this season, they have such an aging team. And, to play a team like Manchester City that holds the ball 90% of the time, you need some runners. You need people who are athletic. You know what I mean? Who like your Conte. Like, we'll come to Conte in a minute, man. That guy deserves his flowers, man. Like, it's nuts. So to see that, I think for me, I looked at it and I said, Chelsea is the only team right now, because PSG and stuff, I look at PSG as a 2-man squad, bro, like a 2-man team. And that's it. Nullify Mbappe and Neymar, and they're basically as good as a mid-table team in England. So that's definitely good, man. What was your take on Conte's performance, man? And also, we gotta talk about Timo Werner, man. I've been saying this all season. He's vital to Chelsea's play. I think he is. When he doesn't play, you guys look flat. And yes, he doesn't finish his food, but he makes those runs. He creates spaces for everyone else on the team. And he's just a nightmare for defenders.
Interesting take. So I know we talked like who have I spoken to about this before? They're asking me who would you want to start in that Champions League game? I said bring Werner off the bench. So I said bring him off the bench because I already knew he was gonna miss a few chances. I knew it. he misses so many easy opportunities that I think any rational human being would have capitalized on. He had 3 chances back to back, missed all 3 of them. Sometimes he didn't hit the ball. One time he didn't hit the ball, bro.
But you gotta understand though, like the hardest thing about being a striker is being in the right place at the right time, and he's done that. So if he can just add that finishing touch,
that's the most frustrating part of it. Because if he didn't get there, he wouldn't be missing these chances. I wouldn't be as upset. I think Werner has taken years off of my life at this point. He really has. He's taken years off of my life with the amount of chances he's missed. I was so petrified that like it's City, right? Like you only get so many chances to score against that team until you end up losing the game. And he threw away 3 of them, but then thank goodness Havertz had his opportunity and scored the goal, because God forbid Havertz doesn't score that. It's 0-0. We had 3 chances to score, now we're up against it. No,
that's true. That's a good way to look at it too.
You know what I mean? And I understand getting into those positions, but if we're gonna make a run at the Premier League next year and Champions League again the following year as well too, he can't start for us, man. He can't. He cannot. Everybody on that team that played, or even guys that didn't play, I love them. They're legends. They're down in the history books with Didier and Lampard and everybody else. They won the Champions League. But if we want to go where we want to go, we can't. I don't think we can keep him out there. He feels like a liability. It's just like if you were in my shoes, you would understand that.
Yeah.
Like, I know Martial was missing some chances, but this is something else, man. This is completely different. Right? Remember the time that the ball was going in the net, and then he kicked it out. He kicked it out of the net, or he headed it out of the net. Remember the Premier League game? The ball was going in, and he headed it out.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I do remember that.
God, it's so frustrating. And part of me thinks like I don't want to go on a rant here or anything, but like part of me thinks like this can't keep happening. Like there's no way. You know what I mean? There's no way. Like if he gets these opportunities again next year and scores half of them, he's up there in goals, literally. You know what I mean? Like,
literally, you guys will be sitting first if he finishes those chances.
Yeah, if he finishes those. I watch a lot of basketball where it's the playoffs right now, and there's this guy Luka Doncic, right? He's playing against the Clippers. When he's on the court, like he makes like everybody around him so much better that they get these wide open shots all the time. They get wide open looks, no one's around them. But his teammates are just missing it right now. They're not making these wide open shots. But sooner or later, these guys are professionals. They're gonna start making these shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The game's gonna like they're gonna start winning a lot more games. So I'm guessing with Werner, if he stay patient with him enough, eventually he has to score these goals.
Yeah. Right? And I think, you know what, also winning this trophy has created so much confidence in all those players, like Mason Mount, you know, like there was so much questions about Mason Mount, you know, is he just, you know, Frank Lampard's like, you know, what are those called? Teacher's pet. Is he just a teacher's pet? Is he, you know, and then across the entire team, there's a lot of questions asked on those players. So I think a lot of them is their first, you know, this is their, like, it's crazy, man. Those guys are so young and they've already won the Champions League. So
think about this. Reece James, 21.
Yeah.
Mount, 22. Havertz, 21. Werner, 24. Tammy, 23. Am I missing anybody else? Like these guys are so freaking young. Like Drogba, Lampard, and Terry won it when they were 33, 34.
Yeah, they were in the prime.
Another decade, you know, to keep playing and keep getting better. Reece James looks like a straight up baller, man.
Yeah, I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous still.
It's insane. He was all over Sterling. He was like, not today. He was all over Sterling. Kai Havertz, that entire 90 minutes, he was, besides Kante, to me, man of the match. He was fantastic. He was giving those guys fits, running in between them. He looks like he's fragile a bit and a little bit like slow, but he's gotten a lot stronger. And he's a lot quicker than people give him credit for.
I think it's more of his movement. He just has he moves in a smart way.
Yeah.
And this is the argument that, you know, a lot of us have, right? And I think with the British football academy or whatever, the British culture of football is built on runners. You know, like I look at a lot of people say, oh, he's not running, oh, he's not fast enough. And it's like, you know, like for example, like growing up in France, like it wasn't about who was the quickest. It was about technique. It was ball control. How did you move off the ball and on the ball, right? It's not really about just getting the ball and put your head down and just start running. You know, and I think people need to, especially in the EPL, people need to understand that football is not just about hard work and running. It takes skill. It takes sometimes it's harder to move without the ball than it is to move with the ball. And I think people just lose that. You know, it's about who's the quickest, who's the strongest, who's the fastest. And it's not always about that, you know.
For sure. And I think he really shows that because, like, I think the part that kind of confuses people about him and why oh my God, it was 71 million pounds to buy. He looks just like a regular kind of, you know, footballer. It's like he moves, like when he plays, he looks like he's not really like making a lot of effort. Like he never really looks like out of breath. He looks like he's kind of just like gliding around the pitch. Same thing happened with Ozil before when he came to the Premier League. It looked like he didn't really care. He was kind of just gliding around the pitch, pass the ball here, pass the ball there, make a run, and everything else. It doesn't look like his intensity is as high. Like when I was watching Azpilicueta, he looked like he was on, like he had batteries in his back. He was just going all over the place, screaming, yelling, diving. You
know? It's one game, man. It's one game. You know, that's the game of your life.
Both those players worked really, really hard. And I think if you look at the stat where it shows how much ground they covered, I wouldn't be surprised if Havertz covered more ground during that entire game than Azpilicueta did, even though Azpilicueta is the one with his shirt completely drenched. You see what I mean? It's a misconception about the player. And I think based on what I've seen out of that game, and the fact that he's only 21, he's going to keep improving so much. He's going to be one of the best midfielders in the league in the next few years. Give him some time, but he has all the tools. You know what I mean? He has everything.
And it depends also how Germany do as well in the Euros, right? If they do well, then that could only up his confidence as well too. And just in that note, you know, this is kind of like for the Manchester United fans that are watching this. I know one always talks about Donny van de Beek as, oh, he's too slow, he's too this. And I think people don't realize, like, when he plays, it's his off the ball game that makes a huge difference. Like, I look at his play and it's like, you don't ever see Donnie hold the ball for too long.
Yeah,
like it's always ticking. And when you see him on Juan Mata play, it's just like a marriage made in heaven.
Yeah,
the way they just run, they just keep the ball ticking. Versus you have your likes of Bruno's, your Rashfords, your Pogbas. That I love those players, but they get the ball and stand, hold it for 5 minutes, look up, and it's like you're slowing down the game. As much as those guys are fast, it's not always about pace. Sometimes you need a player that just moves the ball, just keeps it ticking. So it's I totally understand where you're coming from with Kai Havertz, man. It's
for sure.
Football should be, and that's why I love Europe Champions League, because it's a break from the EPL, just athleticism and just running all day to your naked. You know what I mean? So
it was this whole, it was something else, man. It was something else to watch, to be honest, man.
And how are you rating Conte, man?
Oh yeah, I want to say, oh my gosh, N'Golo, man. I think like he is actually the linchpin in this entire thing. He really is the linchpin. If you watched the 2 legs against Madrid, every goal we scored was because Conte pinched the ball up off somebody higher up the pitch. That's what he does. Let's just say, let's say end to end, Conte isn't as fast as, let's say, Werner, right? End to end, Werner will blow right past Conte, no problem.
Yeah.
But over these short little distances, right, like 2 or 3 players away, he's one of the fastest players I've ever seen.
Yeah, just like the burst.
Burst, yeah. And he'll tackle precisely where the ball is, knock the ball and go. And I think the referees know how good of a tackler he is, because I think a lot of the time they give him the benefit of the doubt. Even when they can't really see like who, if he hit the ball first or not, they'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and then we're off to the races. You know, so the whole thing for me is I think he is the entire linchpin. I think the reason why it looks so harmonious right now and it's working so well right now is because he is in the back line, just absorbing everything, seeing everything, breaking up the plays, and making everybody else look so much better than they actually are. Most likely. You know what I mean? Like, I love Rudiger. I love Christensen. Are these guys world beaters of center backs like what they appear to be? No, they're really
they're not.
But when you have Conte in front of you, just mopping up everything, you know, getting rid of it before it even has to come to you. Like, you look like you're amazing. And you have Mendy, who has 9 clean sheets in one Champions League tournament. 9 clean sheets in the Champions League.
Wow,
it's insane. And a clean sheet against City in the finals. With only 1 shot on target. 1 shot on target for City. You know, I think it's all due to Conte, and I'm a little bit worried, just slightly, because he is 30, turning 31 now. You know, the way he plays like relies so much on like his stamina, a little bit of athleticism, and everything else. As he might not work as well as he gets older. Like it's really dependent on. It's kind of a young man's type of style of play. But as he gets older, it might be difficult for him to maintain that, and you can't replace Conte. There's nobody there. You can't find it. No matter where you go, you can't replace a guy like Conte.
Yeah. And you know what it is, man? At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter for him anymore, man. He's won everything he could possibly win apart from the Euros. And fingers crossed, I hope France wins the Euros this year. And then it's a wrap. Then at that point, he's
nothing else.
Apart from the best football player in the world, like the Ballon d'Or.
Hey, give my guy a shout. Give him a shout. Put him on stage. You know what I mean? Give Conte.
Like give him. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes that's why I stopped following the Ballon d'Or, man, a long time ago. I think it was after
Michael Owen one.
No, it wasn't after Michael Owen one. There was the one where it was like there was someone that was supposed to win it, but I think Messi and Ronaldo, I think either Messi or Ronaldo won it.
Oh yeah, I won it instead.
It was just one of those ones where it just kind of like it just became fake. You know what I mean? I do get it. Like, Ronaldo and Messi, they're scoring 50 goals a season, but it's like, okay, come on, man. Like at some point we got to start looking more than just
supposed to win it.
Sorry,
was it Wesley Sneijder that year that he played amazing?
I think so. Yeah, there's been a couple of years that somebody else has won it just because of their goals.
Yeah, I think what I remember, I knew it was kind of messed up because Wesley Sneijder, they won the Champions League with Inter. He went to the World Cup with Holland and was in the finals. And he did all these things, all these amazing things, and he still didn't. It was like third place. It was the weirdest thing. Yeah.
And I think for me, it's like, okay, I do get it. Obviously, football, it's about scoring goals. Let's not get it twisted. But
Yeah.
it takes a lot more than just, it's not like you see Messi running through the entire team or Ronaldo is running through entire teams week in, week out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think for me, I got to the point where it's like, I appreciate what they've done for the sport, but there's other players too that have other qualities that make up, for the it's not their faults and they're not as strikers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I know Ronaldo actually changed his entire game so he could keep winning Ballon d'Ors because he was scoring like 80 goals a season or some crap like that. And it's like, okay, whatever it takes, man, just to get the Ballon d'Or. But it just goes back to a player like Conte, how important he is to any team that he's on. Leicester City, he was on there. They won the league. Has he won the league with Chelsea yet?
Yeah,
he's won with Chelsea, right?
Won it under remember Conte when Conte was there.
Yeah, I was gonna say because people were saying that he hasn't. I was like, what are you talking about?
No.
He's won it already with Chelsea.
He won it with Chelsea. Yeah, he won it with Chelsea the year after he won it with Leicester because he came over that year.
I do remember that, and then that was the same year he won the World Cup too.
What might have been the year?
Was
you might be right. Might be right actually.
2018, man.
I remember.
think it was
he came into the league, and as soon as he came into Leicester, he won the league. Left to Chelsea, won the league again. So every single year he was in the league, he won the league for those 2 years, which is insane.
Oh my goodness!
And then he won it with France, and then he won the Champions League with us. He's also won the Europa League with us. He's won the FA Cup with us. Who else? What else has he won now? Probably maybe a league.
Oh yeah, he's won the Europa too, right? Didn't Chelsea win it 2 years ago?
Yeah, he won it with Sarri. When Sarri was there, he won. He won
the Europa, man. Like that's wild, bro. Like that is wild.
He's got it all, man. He's got it all. He's got it.
There's too many players that have won everything in the game, man.
I know.
And you know what? He's not going to win it because he's N'Golo Kante. He doesn't fit the looks, the mold of what people want to see.
Yeah, I think for like the layman watching football wouldn't really. They'd see him making tackles, but okay, yeah, lost the ball, whatever. But I don't think that the layman watching football on its own, on its face, wouldn't really notice how important he is to the game. More attacking players. The person who scored the goal is the guy who should be man of the match, or the person who got 3 assists is the man of the match. They don't watch what's happening in the middle of the park, who's breaking out the plays and sending people forward for runs and everything else. And he does that, I think better than anybody else. And I don't know if you remember this, for a while, maybe a few months back, people were they're telling like, yo, Conte's done, Conte's this, Conte's that. He had all those injury problems,
Yeah.
But the fact that he just battled back like this, man, it is crazy. And in one of the Premier League games, I can't remember who we were playing. It might have been Leicester.
Yeah.
2-1. He subbed himself out of the game. He was like, you know what, I'm feeling like I'm gonna get a knock here. I'm gonna sub out of the game because I think he knew that Champions League is coming up. I want to be well rested.
Yeah.
Run through these guys. I want to run through them.
Hey, man. He's not like how Rashford out here that's, played with an injury all season.
Oh, my God.
And then his excuse was that everybody in the locker room had injuries. So you're defending the same manager who played injured players all season and saying that he's got a plan. You're a fool, man. But that's a conversation for another time, man.
I just want to give a couple things on that. You got to sub out Rashford. I remember people were saying that this guy doesn't make substitutions until the 89th minute. I was like, okay, come on. This is the Europa League final. He's not going to do that. There's no way. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. He took out Pogba before he took out Rashford. Rashford's literally dying out there.
But Rashford was also pulling his hamstrings, man. He was pulling his hamstring for like 30 minutes. Like my buddy Eve was saying, yo, like everybody noticed, like Pogba kept remember when what's his name fell? Who was it that fell?
Luke Shaw?
Is it Luke Shaw?
No,
it was
somebody else earlier in the game.
No, this was around the end of the game. This was literally I think it was 5 minutes before Pogba get pulled gotten taken off. You could see Pogba just kept rubbing his hamstring. I'm like, man, it's wild, man. But that's a whole, and that's the thing. I said to people was all the people that were saying all the Ole outers like myself, we were not surprised because literally that finals was all the mistakes, all the deficiencies that we've complained about all season manifested in one game. Literally.
Yeah, man.
From top to bottom, manifested in one game. And for me, as a Ole out fan, I'm sorry, as an Ole out person, I felt so vindicated after that finals. I actually felt satisfied
That's tough.
after that finals.
That's
because
tough.
it was finally like, okay, I can rest my case. Because everybody that had tried so much to defend this guy, it's like, okay, now the whole world, because let's face it, 50% of people that watch that game don't watch Manchester United week in, week out, like I do, or Manchester United fans do. So it was officially the time for the world to see what this man is truly made of. You know what I'm saying?
That's honestly, that's absolutely true, man. That was something to behold. You guys should have won that game within the 90 minutes, to be honest. I think I saw one of these Man U podcasts talking about it. After you got that goal back, there was momentum building. A lot of attacking plays, a lot of momentum. That's the time you make a sub to get fresh legs on. You bring one or two guys up front. You tell them to go. You know what I mean? Because you can go as the game was kind of winding down and was it Villarreal?
Yeah.
Yeah. As they wind down, they can slowly see them kind of come back into the game.
Because they kept making subs.
Yeah,
kept making subs.
Two subs. Yeah. Fresh legs. No matter how good you are, you could be Jordan. If you're dying of thirst, you're not gonna be able to beat anybody. You're not gonna be able to do anything at that point. Your stamina is gone.
Bro, and people like you know when it's so like delusional, and it's like fans have it's like, are we watching the same sport? Like, think about finals in history.
Yep.
Finals is the one moment whereby, yes, star players help, but a lot of times it's not your star player that makes a difference. It's typically somebody off the bench. The list goes on. Germany, is it Götze or whatever his name? Yeah, it was him off the bench. You look at when Portugal won the Euros, it was Ada off the bench. It wasn't Ronaldo. It wasn't Nani. It wasn't Quaresma. Even Quaresma was off the bench.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The list goes on. There's going to be moments in finals where like the Zidane volley or, the Ronaldo bicycle kick or the Bale.
Yeah.
There's going to be those moments. But in finals, that's all out the window. And, a lot of fans, their decision was, Ole put out his best 11. You think Pep didn't put out his best 11 yesterday? That he thought was his best 11?
Yeah, no, I definitely.
You think Tuchel didn't put his best 11? You think coaches don't put their best 11? You know what I mean? But did they just kind of fold their arms and just hope that out of 120 minutes, somebody would do something?
I think the thing with Ole that I found is that I think he goes into these games with one plan. He goes in there. He goes in there with one plan. And he goes, "I'm gonna try this plan. I don't have anything else to fall back on. This is what we're gonna go with. See if it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, it does."
Yeah.
You saw even Guardiola. He made a terrible error not playing a CDM. But as soon as he realized that his team was going nowhere, not getting past our four backs of four, he made a substitution, brought on Fernandinho, brought on Aguero, quick, boom, boom.
And the game changed.
Yeah.
The game changed, but at that point it was kind of like, Chelsea. Yeah. But we always knew that. And I even said that in my in our pre-match, in our match preview. That was my prediction, was because of how solid Chelsea has been since Tuchel came in. If Chelsea got the first goal, it was going to be a long night. For those of you watching, you can go check it out. I said it was going to be a long night for City, and exactly what happened.
And even look at Tuchel, right? So after he got the first goal, right, we go into a half, same team comes out, then he brings on Pulisic, takes off Werner,
right,
that substitution, and then he brings on Kovacic. He's like, you know what? We're doing great. We're doing well. We're attacking well. But that's my plan A was this. Now let's bring on Kovacic. Let's shore it up. Let's finish this game off. Try to get 2 or 3 goals, cut all that shit out. We're done here. Which it's a more intelligent thing to do. And I don't know if he's there yet. And what I would never want for my own team is for people to be learning on the job too much. Like you're at the biggest stage now. All your learning should have taken place years ago.
Exactly.
A long time ago. I don't have time for you to learn about all this other stuff. I need you to be ready to go now. And that's part of the reason why Lampard had to go. And you can now see the difference with Tuchel coming in. He came in and he said, "We're going 3 at the back." And from that point on, we've been pretty much smooth sailing,
And that's what I said I asked, right? I said, ask Chelsea fans right now, would they still want Frank Lampard in charge, or would they want Tuchel after the win in that Champions League final?
There's no way they would. Some fans were dying on that hill. You remember? I remember when we had this conversation before. I was like, "Yo, Lampard has to go." I was like, "Yo, he has to go." I have no affiliation. I'm more of a Drogba person myself. I love Frank, but listen, I'm not gonna hold the door for you when you leave it. I'll let you right. I wanted him to go, and he finally went. I was like, "Okay, we're bringing Tuchel." Not my number one option, to be honest. I didn't on my board. But he came in and immediately was a big, big difference. And we still had Chelsea fans complaining, "Oh, we shouldn't have sacked Lampard. This is crazy. Roman has to go." All this wildness.
Emotions, bro. Emotional, like
it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And now it's bearing fruit. It's bearing fruit. And those guys need to, like, they're not going to do it, but need to come out and say, "Hey, listen, I was wrong."
No, they never will, bro. They'll probably still look for another excuse of, "Oh, it's pragmatic football," and blah blah blah. Because I remember I told you this. Remember when I told you this? I said, like, when I watched Chelsea under Frank Lampard, it felt like I was watching Manchester United. Mm-hmm. It was just like I looked at the team, and there was no pattern. When you watch like your Liverpool, over the Liverpool were unlucky this season. When you watch them, you watched like West Ham, you watched Leicester City, you watched City. There was that fluidity of play. It wasn't like I watched like Manchester United. When you watch Man U and Chelsea under Frank, it was so static. It was like
very static.
Someone received the ball and there was no movement, and the person on the ball was not even moving. So this is when you watch other teams, it's like there's the constant flow. There's the constant movement. You know what I mean? And that's where it just tells me it's the eye test.
Yeah.
You don't need to see 50 games in a season to know if there is a plan or if there's no plan.
And that's honestly the thing. That's why I knew Frank kind of needed to go, was that every time I saw interviews with him, they kept saying, like, yes, he lets the players express themselves. He lets the players express themselves. In some way, that's a good thing. Yeah, you want to be able to not be locked in a box and actually play some sort of football. But in my mind, it kind of looked to me like he didn't have a lot of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
He wants them to express himself because, like, he's saying, "I'll put my best team out there, and hopefully these guys will figure out what to do and score a goal." That's what it felt like to me. So a lot of the times when we go 1-0 down, or you're playing like a Burnley or something, where they have everybody, including the striker, behind the ball, and you don't know what the hell to do. Expressing yourself is going to get you through that defense. No matter how good you think Mount has been, he's not going to go through 11 players. Set structure that's been drilled and planned in training for years, for a good amount of time. So when you get out on the pitch, they know exactly where they should be at all times.
Mm-hmm.
When the ball comes in, Reece is making that run, and that ball needs to go over the top. He's always going to be there because you drilled it consistently for a long period of time. And with Lampard, even that system wasn't really there for me.
Yeah.
A bunch of guys who are really, really good, just out there just trying to play and figure it out. That's what I look at to me.
Yeah, and you know what? And another good point too is you got to understand who the kind of players you're buying, right? Like I think Frank, that express yourself worked with the youth team. Your Tammy Abrahams, like that's all they had. I mean, because when you're a youth, there's too much pressure, especially in Chelsea. So when the coach tells you go out and express yourself, it actually means a lot. Mm-hmm. But then you turn around and then you buy 5 players from the German league, the Dutch league.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows the Dutch and the German systems, they're built on systems.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you buy like your Ziyech, your Harvitz, your Timo, these are players, even like Donny van de Beek. These are players who are coming from drilled systems. And then you bring them and say, "Oh, just express yourself." And then you say, "Oh, they're bad because they don't know how to run and just aimlessly running."
Yeah.
So because of that, they're bad. And it's like, if anything, those kind of players expose coaches' weaknesses. And this is why it now makes sense why someone like Ole would rather pick a Daniel James and McTominay, even though McTominay had a good finals. I get it. Don't crucify me. But at the end of the day, good finals or not, he's like, if we're looking at real proper Manchester United, he should not be a starter at all.
No.
Not a chance. So those kind of players is what he wants, because it's about the deficiencies is they have a lot of deficiencies. So it's go out there and express yourself. Versus a Donny, he's got to think and say, okay, if Donny comes on and there's no Bruno, now I've actually got to think. I actually got to do the work that I'm getting paid for. Let's think about it. If you're getting paid £9 million a year, is your job just to pick the starting 11? I could do that job. You can do that job.
Easily,
that's all it took.
Yeah.
Just put your best 11 on the field and just
go play.
Get the job done. No, you get paid. Your job as a coach is when the game is not going as planned, or is not going according to plan. What changes are you making?
Yeah,
that's how you make your money.
Yeah, for sure, man. And even that whole, it felt weird in that game. It felt weird, you know. It felt really, really weird. And Villarreal's fans, they were going crazy that entire game. I think they felt something was going to happen.
Obviously, man, the whole world felt something.
They felt that. First of all, on that goal that they scored, you have 9 guys in red shirts. You have 3 Villarreal players. Somehow he's the one who hits the ball. How does that happen? That seems insane to me. You had on Villarreal's goal, it was a free kick that probably shouldn't have happened to begin with.
Yeah.
Ball comes in, 9 red shirts. Nobody get the head to the ball or the leg to the ball at all. And one of the 3 Villarreal players got there first. It seemed it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me at all.
Let's like look at this, right? Like, and this is what I'm saying. That finals, anybody who has followed Manchester United all season, what happened in that finals explains our season, sums up our season. The only difference was there was no individual brilliance. Because let's say Rashford had scored in the 110th minute. Guess what? All his fans would have forgotten how crap that finals was. And that was what it was. It was always, remember when we win? I remember we would win a game and people would be like, oh, why are you so negative? Why are you so negative? I'm like, I'm negative because I saw this finals happening.
Yeah, I saw it coming.
In advance. I'm like, you can fool the Sheffields Uniteds of this world, the Fulhams of this world, but you can't, when you get to the big stage, you can't fool nobody, man. When it comes to the big stage, you know. And he was exposed in the UEFA Champions League group stage. 3 games, 1 point, couldn't do it. FA Cup couldn't do it. Carabao Cup couldn't do it. 4 semis. Come on. And I know what the sad part is people say, oh, our bench is not good enough. You can't tell me United's bench is worse. So between Donny van de Beek, Alex Telles, and Amad Diallo, those 3 alone is already 100 million pounds on that bench. That's worth more than Villarreal as a club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we're going to talk about net worth.
100%, yeah.
And fans are out there have the audacity to say our bench is not good enough. How is our bench not good enough when we've never seen them play? And you know what? Ole was strapped because Ole realized I haven't used these guys. And guess what? This same bench was our team that has had the most recent win. They won against Wolves.
Yeah.
Our first team hadn't won since the AC Milan game. They hadn't won since the AC. So it's the logic. It's like you don't give players chances. No matter how well Beak plays, he doesn't get a chance. Tell us. You know, even that game, like you look at Cavani, 0 crosses into the box. Who was the one player on Manchester United? Alex Telles. This guy whips in one of the best crosses I've seen in a long time since Beckham. I know I'm not saying he's on Beckham level, but his whips, because that's one thing I was good at. That was my that was actually one of my qualities when I used to play. I didn't play like top level, but you know, because I love David Beckham, so I used to practice my crosses. So I have an eye for players who can deliver in the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you have that player on the bench. Okay, even if you really don't want to take Luke Shaw off, Alex Telles can probably play right wing. Take Rashford off. We don't even play with wingers anyway, because between Greenwood and Rashford, when was the last time you see them running on the flank and crossing the ball in? We don't play with wingers anyways.
Yeah.
Try something different. Be creative.
Yeah, they want to cut in and shoot. They're not interested too much.
Yeah. So when I said Beak would have done a better job than Rashford, what do you mean? Beak is not a winger. I'm like, okay, so you clearly are just as naive as Ole. Any fan that looks at that team and cannot think of other ways to play other than the same pivot, Bruno, blah, the same structure. If every fan, that's what they can analyze from that squad, they don't know football. They clearly do not know football.
Hey man,
yeah.
I don't. United is an interesting spot. You're going to give Ole the 3-year contract. It's going to be interesting to see, especially with those guys playing from injuries. I know, unlike other sports like basketball and everything else, there's a long break in between for you to kind of recover. In soccer, you're pretty much right back at it, and this is a Euro tournament coming out too. So, if I had to guess, with the amount of injuries these guys have played through and the amount of games they've played and minutes to start next season, it might be a little bit of a struggle. I think
with the Euros, yeah,
there might be some
Euros
picking up some injuries. People might be tired. It's like 90 playing a game for 90 minutes is that's a long time. That's a long time,
bro. Like I don't like it's sickening, bro. It's absolutely sickening to watch.
90-minute game is a lot. It's a lot of game. In basketball, you play ball for 48 minutes. Out of those 48 minutes, if you're a really good player, you play 36.
Yeah,
maybe they're playing 3 times that.
Yeah, and especially the season whereby we had on average, like this was like the one season that was wild, bro. Everybody had on average like 3 games a week.
Yeah,
including internationals, and all these players are first team for the national team.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, man, it's like, no, but that's just the coach who had no plan, and he only relied on these are my best players. That's all I have.
Yeah,
and then he sold the narrative to the world that we don't have a good enough bench. And I can guarantee you, just like Chelsea, bring in a half-decent manager, and people would change their tune. All of a sudden, all these guys that were saying our bench isn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying our bench is world-class, is award-winning, but our bench is better than Liverpool's bench.
Honestly, same thing.
You know what I mean? But Klopp still uses it.
Yeah, same thing happened with Chelsea. Remember, Klopp was using our regional other players before. They're scoring goals in the Champions League. Yeah. When Lampard left, before Lampard left, they said Rudiger was garbage. Zuma is garbage. Who else did they say? Havertz and of course Ziyech and Werner, all garbage. And then Tuchel comes in, revamps the entire team. Lampard didn't even have Aspilicueta in his team.
Yeah,
he didn't have him in his team. The captain. And Tuchel comes in, all of a sudden these guys go from regular average Joes to Champions League winners.
Nah, man. There's a way buddies are trying to tell me that coaches don't matter. Like, what sport? And they're asking me, what sport do you watch? I'm like, excuse me, what sport do you watch?
Yeah, honestly, man.
What sport do you watch?
And this kind of leads me to this question. Because now that we won the Champions League, I have a sneaky suspicion that Roman's gonna throw the whole checkbook in there. He's gonna throw
man. So what's next for Tuchel, man? What's next for you guys?
The reason why I see this, people watching may be saying, you spent 200 million last year. There's no way you'll spend another 200 million. I get that. I understand that. But we just won the Champions League, and Tuchel hasn't made any signings yet. He hasn't got to pick his guys.
Yeah.
You know? The least Roman can do is let him pick his guys. You know what I mean? So I'm hearing Lukaku rumors. I'd love to have Lukaku back on the team. He shouldn't have left.
Lukaku, eh?
He's fantastic.
What's your reasoning behind that?
Listen,
confident.
Lukaku, I think there's been a narrative about Lukaku that's not necessarily true anymore.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't have a first touch. He's not playing very well with his back to the goal and everything else like that. But I haven't watched a lot of Serie A games. I saw what that can give with this now. On the final day they played again. I can't remember who they played against. But
didn't they play? Was it Milan they played? AC
in the final game?
Or Lazio. I think it was one of.
I can't remember.
Anyways, yeah.
I can't remember for anyways. But The guy looks like a different. I don't know. He looks like a different player under Conte. He looked like a completely different player. He had double-digit assists, double-digit goals, won the Serie A as their best. You know what I mean? Like he looks incredible. And from what I saw in that game, his touch is fine. It's fine. You know, I think like our team and teams in general, you dominate the ball so often that even if you were to misplace a pass or misplace a ball, you're gonna reclaim it so quickly after that. Either way, so it's not that big of a deal. And his finishing is clinical. He's 6'3", 6'4", one of the strongest players in the entire league. You know, fast going down the line. And he's good. He's getting better in the air. Like, what else do you want from a striker? And he's proven in the Premier League, I would say. But it was at Man U. Scored a good amount of goals. Scored a good amount of goals at Everton. Scored a good amount of goals at West Brom. You know, bring him back. And he's still 28. He's still a young guy, and he loves Chelsea. You know, he'll clearly play for the badge. You know, so I would love to bring back Lukaku for one. And then I think a guy who we're both looking at, you know, both Man U and Chelsea, Declan Rice. Class player.
Yeah, I know. We're fighting for that too.
I know. I don't know how much it's going to cost. He has a bit of an injury. I want to see whether or not he's going to play in the Euros. He's going to, you know, maybe start for England. But he looks like a class player. He can pick a ball, great defensively, reads the game really well, and everything.
Yeah.
Former Chelsea academy player. You know, someone else can bring back to the team who knows the club, knows the squad. Best friends with Mason Mount. You know, grew up with these guys. So,
yeah, Pellegrini speaks highly of him too.
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
Pellegrini coach West Ham, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, and I think that'd be great to bring him back, and then maybe a center back as well too, because you saw what Thiago Silva got injured. Like, he's getting older. He's still a really good player, but it'd be good to have someone to kind of deputize him, you know, every once in a while. That's on a different level than Rudiger and Christensen. Somebody who can kind of take over the mantle. You know, as good as Rudiger and Christensen have been. You wouldn't see them at that Thiago Silva level. They're good.
Yeah, especially for a whole season, right?
Exactly.
Like, especially when you're trying to do you're trying to win the league. And league is a whole different that's a whole different ball game than winning a tournament.
They're playing fantastic, but like their ceiling is like here. They're right here. The ceiling is only a little bit higher than that.
And it's consistency too, right? They have the ability. It's just the consistency, which is that's what makes you an elite. Is that consistency week in, week out.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Thiago Silva has he's done it for the past 16 years. Every time I've thought about a center back since I've been alive watching football, Thiago Silva has been there. So maybe somebody like, you know, maybe if Varane available, I
think Koulibaly, man, might actually do you guys better.
You know, that Koulibaly, I watched a little bit of Koulibaly a couple summers ago. He's one of the best center backs in the league, apparently. Yeah. He's a little bit rash and harsh. Like he gets really stuck in with the challenges.
Okay, you're right, because you don't want Rudiger and Zuma kind of like that.
Yeah,
so you don't want like for like. Yeah, that's so true.
I really like that. Like he really gets really stuck in. We already have Rudiger gave De Bruyne a black eye. You know, you don't want any more black eyes on your team. You know, that's why I think Varane. Varane's a lot more. He's a lot more more of like a finesse type of center back.
What about Marquinhos though?
Oh, if he's
I've always like Marquinhos. I've always had him on all my FIFA teams, bro. Like in the last 5 years, I always have him. He's always my center back, yo. Marquinhos. I like him, man. He's a G.
There's no way if he's available, of course. He's a captain now, isn't he, at PSG?
He's the captain. Yeah,
there's no way he's leaving.
But hey, if money talks, man, and you guys are European champions, so you guys have the say. Yeah, you guys are, there's something about just when players, I think if you're a smart player, you're not just looking at the club you're signing for, what have they recently done? And then who are the owners? I think now, especially in modern day football, owners are massive nowadays. You know what I mean? Like they determine the success of a club. Absolutely.
And Roman, you can tell he just loves Chelsea so much. He was at the game, and Tuchel was saying in his press conference that after the game, he went over to Roman. They had a hug. They were talking, and in their conversation, Abramovich was like, "We need to sign you for an extend your contract." In that conversation,
yeah, I heard that. He's like, "There might be a contract."
Yeah, man. He doesn't. These Russians don't mess around. He's like, "You know what? That's all right. I'll give you a blank check. You write the number you want on there. I'll sign it. The money will be in your account in 30 to 60 business days." You know what I mean? Everything was ready to go. So that's really important. And then, so those three would be perfect. I would love them. any money left over from some player sales,
Yeah, I
Sancho.
think the likes of Tammy and those guys are gone.
Yeah, I think Tammy will go.
Probably go.
Yeah, I'm hearing Tammy will go. I'm hearing Jorginho is most likely going to go, especially now he won the Champions League. He might go as well. Giroud is going to go on a free. Kepa possibly on a loan with a buy option. Hudson-Odoi possibly a loan to Borussia Dortmund, possibly if Sancho leaves.
Yeah, so, I would like literally if those like the young Chelsea players, just go to Germany, man. Because I think if they go to any other EPL team, they're just not at that level yet. I
think I don't know. I
don't see Tammy leading the line for any EPL team right now. I don't really see him.
I don't know actually.
That guy.
Like Tammy had 14 goals last year, like when he was starting for us. I think if he goes to a team like Villa, actually maybe not Villa, they have like already.
Oh, they've got what's his name, Hakeem Watkins.
I think he'd be good. I think he'd be good and I think Hudson-Odoi has all the talent to be a quality player. You just need some time. Those guys, I think, based on what you saw for Reece James and Mason Mount, they came from the same academy in Cobham and everything else. We're breeding up some really, really quality players. So
yeah,
I think they'll be okay in the EPL. I think they'll be fine. Like a mid-table team, maybe not like an Everton or Tottenham, but the level below.
Yeah, that makes sense though. Like, yeah, I could definitely see that. As long as they get enough service, then I think they can. Yeah, Tammy's got good positioning. I just feel like he needs to. I feel like he's too scared sometimes. Like I feel like he just needs to. Yeah, he's not as aggressive.
Yeah,
I feel like he doesn't have the aggression of a number 9.
Yeah, he's always falling down. What do you think about this? 45 million for Tammy? Yes or no?
45 mil? Nah, I'll say 30. I'll say 30.
He's English. It's a tax. You gotta put a tax on there.
Yo, if we're selling Lingard for 30 mil, yo, Tammy's got to be like 30, man. Like,
Lingard's amazing. Yeah, he's gonna go to the Euros, but he's what, 28? Tammy's 28. Yeah, that's 5 years.
Yeah, man, but still, like what he's doing, the bits that he's doing, I think that's like 40 mil. So I think Tammy's got to be like 30, man.
2 thumbs down. 2 thumbs down on that.
Oh my god,
45 million, easy. How much did Maguire go for again? Please remind me.
Maguire probably he'll be lucky to go for 40 mil, bro.
What did you buy him for? 80? How much you buy him for again?
How much did you buy him for? Yeah, we bought him for like 80. Yeah,
jeez,
I think it was about 80. Yeah, but you know what? The thing with Maguire, I think if we can get, I think Ole, and this is where our team is not as bad as, that's the part for me after that finals. It was like I had no criticism for the players, and it's not because they don't deserve criticism; they do, but I kind of reflected it. I looked at the entire season as a whole, and there's been so many moments in the season that these players have bailed Ole out. Last minute goals from Pogba, Bruno, Rashford, Mason Greenwood. You know what I mean? Cavani. These players have given it this season, and as much as I was okay that we lost, so that way Ole could get the hell out of the club, I felt for the players because they had given their all. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's so unfair how one man is dictating everything around who's good and who's not.
For sure.
And in reality, he's the one who should be questioned about his tactics and about his ability, right?
If Ole goes, who would you have instead?
Right now, I'm a little. At this point, I wouldn't mind seeing Conte, to be honest. Like, at this point, I'm open, and this is where I say it, right? I think nowadays, Tuchel got what, a 12-month contract?
Yeah, I got a 12-month contract.
Okay, so I think the average contract now for coaches is about 18 months. What's wrong with that? That's enough time to implement what you need to implement. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like there's always going to be room for an extension.
Yeah.
But I think we need to get away from this 5-year structure. We're going to rebuild. And because if the guy's not good, he's not good. You know what I mean? Or like, so for me, at this point, I will take anyone right now. I'm obviously not just anyone, but what I mean is I'm a little skeptical about Zidane because I don't know if Zidane has. Because what I think Manchester United needs right now, I think we just need an identity. That's what we're lacking. When you watch us play, there is no identity. Like when you watch Chelsea now, when you watch Pep, when you watch Klopp, when you watch West Ham with what's his name, David Moyes, Brandon Rodgers, even Graham Potter from Brighton, Leeds. These teams all have identities when they play. You can see what they're doing on the field. And I think Manchester United, that's what we just need. We just need a coach that can come in and guide these players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That just creates a system so that way, if Bruno is resting, B can come on. If Pogba is resting, somebody else can come on. And it's just fluidity. Everybody has played with each other, because you look at Ole, for example, he treats it like FIFA, like I treat my FIFA game. You know how like on FIFA you have your best players, and then for the Carabao Cup you just throw in all the reserves just to make them happy. And it's like you kind of think about it like Beak has barely played with the first team because he's always being put next to Daniel James. Who else? Brandon Williams. It's like you're not giving him the opportunity to show. And when you even bring him on for the first team, it's 99 minutes, at the 99th minute. And it's like, you're clearly not giving this guy an opportunity. Like you're choosing not to give him an opportunity, right? And for me, so that's why I feel like any manager would do better than Ole right now, And if you were the bench too, after that finals, if I were that bench, I would have literally the next morning, whenever we got back to Manchester United or gone back to Manchester, all of us would have come together and handed in our transfer request. No, but bro, it's true though. Like you've got to have some dignity at some point. You were not used all season, not at all. And then the most important game of the season, still not utilized. So at that point, like, what else? What more do you need?
What are we doing here?
What more message or sign from God do you need that says this manager doesn't rate you and clearly doesn't need you? So at that point, imagine if the whole bench went to management and said, "Hey, we're done. Get us out of this club, whatever it takes. Either we go or this manager goes." Bro, do you know how powerful that would be? Do you know how powerful that would be? Because the first team players will probably be in support. Because I'm sure Bruno doesn't feel so good that he's playing every minute of every game. Even against Real Sociedad, we were up 4-0 in the first leg. Bro, we were thinking, okay, second leg, we're up 4-0. Ole is going to start the bench. This guy still started our first team.
He's scared, man. He wants to keep his job.
Literally, man. But going to these guys, man, Zidane, Conte, Allegri, how you feeling about those coaches, man? What do you think they could be going? I guess we've kind of really talked about that a bit. So.
Let me think. So I'm thinking. So for Conte, if I was him, he loves money. He wants a big contract. I know he took us to court because we didn't pay him some of the money that we owed him. He won too. So So I think for Conte, Madrid makes sense to me. They have a lot of ambition like him, and hopefully when things kind of financially kind of recoup for themselves, they can have more money to spend and get him the players that he wants. Because with Conte, if you don't get the players that he wants, he goes insane. He goes wild, right? But if you do get the players that he wants, like at Chelsea and at Inter, he'll win. Simple as he'll win it for you, no problem. So I think Madrid is probably the best place for him at this point. For Zidane,
not even Tottenham, because I know there's a lot of talks with him in Tottenham right now.
Please, there's no way, no way. Tottenham is a shithole. That's just.
But bro, think about it, right? Like Tottenham could actually be a good project for Conte because Conte is known for leaving a mess. Like look at what he did with Inter Milan. He basically just took everyone's garbage and made a team. And I think he could do the same thing with Tottenham. Need that right now.
No,
they need that right now.
I think it's a big step back for him. He just won the Serie A. Why would you go to a team that finished sixth? in the Premier League they have no prospects of winning anything anytime soon. If we're calling it what it is, their biggest landmark was the fact that they made it to the Champions League final and got dismantled by Liverpool. No, there's no way. It's a big. I'm just being honest. That team is awful. And they're gonna lose Kane. I think in my mind, Kane and Dan Levy, had a conversation probably months ago.
Yeah.
These things, they don't just pop up out of nowhere, right? These when a big player wants to leave, he doesn't just walk up to your door and say, "I gotta go."
Yeah.
It's a long conversation with agents and everything else. He said, "Listen, if we don't hit this mark, Champions League or FA Cup or whatever, I want to go." But I had a discussion last year. Levy knew what's going to happen. They know what the price that Kane is thinking. I'm guessing City has already, put all their
paperwork.
They have all their marked bills. They have a money order for part of it.
The fax might be jammed.
Yeah. But I think Levy, like City to Tottenham, there's a chasm between the two clubs. So I don't think, as greedy as he is, he will respect Kane's wishes, because Kane's done everything for this guy, right?
Yeah.
He'll respect his wishes, and I think he'll go to City. With that 150, roughly, maybe 120 to 150 million in a transfer fee for Kane, I'm guessing a lot of it is going to go into that guy's pocket. If I have to take a bet. I think a lot of it's going to go to his pocket. I'm not sure what kind of players they can attract, even with that money still. On top of that,
French league players, man.
Yeah, like what happened last time when they sold Bale, every single player they went in for just went up by 10, 15 million. Whatever price they were discussing before, and they realized they got $100 million for Bale, they went up 15%, just like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, really difficult to bring in top quality players with no Champions League. You don't even have a coach, and your best player just left on top of that. No chance. No chance.
Yeah. That's what I feel like Conte would be the only saving grace to keep Harry Kane at Tottenham, which I don't even want to see. I think, like we've talked about it, right? Like Harry Kane needs to leave. Like it's done. And people say, "Oh, come to Manchester United." I'm like, that would be the dumbest thing you can do as well. I don't care what money they pay you. If City is calling, go to City. Go to City. If Chelsea's calling, go to Chelsea. If Real Madrid is calling, go to Real Madrid. At least Real Madrid, they have a better chance of winning the league because it's only 2 teams or 3 teams. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, I would love for him to go overseas, to be honest. If you're not coming to Chelsea, I'd love for him to go overseas. There is a less than 0% chance that Kane comes to Chelsea at any point, because there's no way Levy ever sells anybody worth anything to Chelsea. I know when we were looking at Modric, he purposely rejected all of our offers and took less money from Madrid just to send it to Madrid. Right. There's literally no way he comes here. And honestly, I think we would pay more money for Kane, especially at this point. Like, I haven't seen City they never dropped 100 million on anybody before. You know what I mean? Even when it came to the Maguire thing, they were like, Man United was, you guys were dragging your feet with the Maguire transfer, but even City, they were a little bit hesitant to drop it.
Looking and seeing, is it worth it?
So now going up to 150. Chelsea, like we'll put up money, no problem. I think we've been doing it for a really, really long time, right? But I think he's going to go to City, and I think Tottenham we shouldn't even be discussing them, because their whole club means absolutely nothing, to be honest.
That's true. There isn't much. I guess history was made back in the day, but
no, at this point, no, nothing. Allegri, I guess Allegri's going back to Juve, which is cool, and then Zidane, I want to know what you think about this. I would like to see Zidane and at Juve reunite with Ronaldo. That would have been cool. What do you think?
I know. I really want to see Zidane in Italy. I think he would have done well as well.
It would have been cool. I think it would have been good.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're going back to Allegri, though. It's like, really?
Yeah, I know. He won the Serie A how many times with them, so he can get that done for them. Maybe, you know what? Maybe Zidane will go to Paris. Maybe Zidane will go to PSG.
Yeah, there's the whole like Marseille, because Zidane's from Marseille. And,
is he? Okay.
Yeah, and Marseille and Paris don't see eye to eye, man. That's like
Marseille,
that hooligan FC. That's that hooligan FC kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah, but you never know though. Like Zidane is I think Zidane is more Spanish now than he is French, anyways. So this guy loves Spain, and so it might be different. It might be different. Him coaching PSG, But I would like to see that. Maybe Pogba might go to PSG.
Yeah. I think Pogba's gonna. I think like what it's starting to look like is that he's going to just run out his contract at Man U. Right? No point locking in for another 5 years with Man U. Just run it out. You're getting paid good money now, and then you can leave on a free, get a huge signing bonus, get your agent paid as well too, because he wants his money.
Yeah,
the easiest way to get it done anyway.
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen, man. I think he'll stay this one more season, half a season, because I think they can like kind of renew a contract, and then have like clause right on if a club comes for me. 'Cause I think Grealish did that in his contract.
Oh, like a release clause, like in the renewal.
Yeah, I think Grealish did because Grealish renewed his contract, but he signed a contract extension. But I think the clause was if a club comes calling, then I can go. So I think that's basically, it helps both players. It ups the value of the player, and then at least the club gets some money out of the player, and then two, the player gets to leave to wherever they want to go.
I don't see him doing that though. I don't know why.
Who?
Pogba. Why? Because like that involves signing some kind of extension, right? And then adding a clause that allows you to be sold elsewhere. I think in his mind and Riola's mind, the money they're using for a transfer fee, rather than paying the club that Man U, just go towards his contract and the signing. Why? What are we doing here?
That's so true, bro. Like at this point, it looks like Pogba is now the new David Beckham, man. This guy's in every commercial. I love this guy, but I've never seen a player who is not in a tournament that is the face of the tournament.
Oh, sir, I know.
The Champions League.
Everywhere.
Oh my goodness. I've always liked league finals, but he's out there marshmallow.
I've always liked Pogba, to be honest. It's like a really good character. It's like a really like genuine guy. I've always had a lot of respect for Pogba. Even when Mourinho was at Chelsea, he was begging us to bring him in. At the time we didn't want to cough up the money, but the guy doesn't smoke, the guy doesn't drink. Super
doesn't party. He's fun to be around.
Yeah, doesn't do anything crazy. Just dances and has fun. He has cool hairstyles, and everybody gets on his case for that. He's like a genuine guy. I would love him at Chelsea, to be honest, if he's available.
No, man, but everybody knows that. Everyone knows the foreign player bias, right? Like Semi Martial, they all get it.
Yeah,
any foreign player get the stick because they just don't have that. It's like when you watch like Frank Lampard or like a lot of English players. After a game, and it's like, because they don't have that etiquette of saying the right thing or saying what they expected to say. You know what I mean? It's like, that's phony, man. That's really phony. You know what I mean? Like now, I think it was Rance that said that. He was like, with the whole like racial abuse from Rashford, which I don't condone no racial abuse, but what's his name said? Rance said, it looks like the British press has actually realized that Rashford is black. Yeah, I mean?
That's funny.
Oh my goodness! But man, this show has been fun, though. This show has been fun. Obviously, it's now at the hour mark, just past that. Those of you that were watching, I really appreciate it. Definitely don't forget to smash the like button. Please share the video. Please go on the YouTube channel, J Socials Touchline Talks on YouTube. Please subscribe, like, and share so that we can continue to give you more content. But yeah, man, are you gonna be watching the Euros?
Yes. I don't have a I'm repping my Nigeria Super Eagles.
Yeah, you got no allegiance to European sides.
To be honest, like I would love for Mount and some of the Chelsea guys to pick up a trophy, but I really hate the way England talks about their players sometimes. So I kind of want England to lose.
We already know that's happening, man, because guess who their coach is?
Oh, I know, yeah.
Ole in a waistcoat, according to my boy Flawless. Southgate is Ole in a waistcoat. So like I look at England too, the same thing. So much talent, but a coach that doesn't even know how to use them. The fact that we're still debating if Grealish should go to the Euros is maddening. It's sickening on its own. Like,
you have so many attackers, and he's still playing three at the back.
Yeah,
he's still playing three at the back.
I would drop Rashford in a heartbeat and take Grealish right now, bro.
Yeah,
I love Rashford. Don't get me wrong. I like Rashford. I think he's doing well. I mean, like personally and on the he's done well this season.
Yeah,
but let's get real, man. Let's get real. I think the two players, actually the three players that for the English squad that should not even be a question are Sancho, Grealish, and Foden. Those three, and now Mason Mount can now have the argument as well.
That's why I added. I agree with
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
everybody else should be. Everybody else can fight for their spots. Everybody else can fight for their spots, but those four should be guaranteed on that. There should be the first four names on that list.
Yeah. Right now, I love Harry Kane, but outside of this Champions League,
sorry, Harry Kane as well too.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. But outside of this Champions League final, Foden I think has been the best English player this season. I think Foden has been something else.
He's a G, man.
He's a monster, and he looks like he plays his best. What it looks like on the left. So you know what I mean? Like stick him out there, see what happens.
Yeah, that's true. He could play. Yeah, he could play like if you have him. He could even play like sort of like that false nine role.
He could, yeah. He could.
Yeah, he could play that false nine role.
But the problem when you're playing three at the back, you only have so many attacking positions now, and Kane is already one of them, right? So the rest of your guys are going to play out of position. Like I know Mount's going to play out of position just as a result of that and everything else. Yeah. They might put him next to Rice or one of those other guys further back, but I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Especially because Mount has a lot of energy, man.
Yes.
Like he runs around a lot, and I think that's where coaches like Southgate, Ole, it's like they focus on people's weaknesses versus their strengths, and it's like, you can have, like you look at Pogba, for example. Yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah, he can defend when but he's not a defender. He's not a defensive player, and because I remember like what's his name, Didier Deschamps said that, and I think a lot of United fans don't watch the French team, so they don't listen. You know what I mean? And it's like this was when people were talking about Pogba because Pogba was playing so deep early in the season, and Deschamps came out and said, "Let Pogba free. He knows when to attack. He knows when to defend. Let him free." Kind of like Conte at Chelsea.
Yeah,
Conte is not a CDM. He's not a DM. He's a CM. Just let him roam. That's why you get his best job. Like certain players should not be stifled into one role.
Yeah,
Mount is the same way. I don't think Mount should be put into that one bracket of just he's a CM and that, or like he's a CDM or he's a CAM. I don't think he's either, but I think he's just a good player that can, what I mean, that can figure his way around the field.
Yeah, let them.
That's what you want.
Yeah, no, 100% with that, man.
Yeah,
it's been real, man. It's been a fantastic week.
I know, man. Enjoy it. But lots more football to come, man. Obviously, I'm repping that Le Bleu, that blue, white, red.
You want that
all the way, man. I'm repping that all the way.
Crazy
my family's going to be singing that Le Marseillaise hardcore.
National anthem?
Yeah, man.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, they're going to be singing that hardcore, man.
Okay.
Hey, man, don't worry. We still have allegiance to France, to Nigeria, but we also, France is what paid our bills. France is what got us that. My brother and my sister were born in France, too.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. My sister's name is Noelle. She was born December 20th.
Yeah.
And then my brother.
Joshua? What? Parlez français?
Macno ample. Yeah. I speak socially, but not professionally.
Oh, okay. if I dropped you in Paris, could you find your way back over or what?
Obviously, bro. Obviously.
Right.
I go enough though, because I still have family there.
Okay, cool.
I still go. I haven't gone in I think it's been 3 years now. So, was it? Oh, geez, 2018. Yeah, 2018 was the last time I dropped down. Yeah, that's been a long time now, I guess. But
France is a really good team. France, the teams the players that they didn't select could probably win the Euros as well. To be honest,
sorry,
the players that they didn't select to come to the Euros could probably win the Euros.
Yeah, literally either way. Yeah. But I'm a little nervous now because I feel like last year was the year for us. That's because it was right on the clock, 2 years after the World Cup. But I feel like now players have gotten a bit older now, and a lot of our players are not really informed. Like Pogba has had a good season overall. like just from the way he's played.
Yeah.
Greasy has not really had a good season at Barcelona.
Yeah.
Martial is not going because of his injury, and I think that's part of why Karim Benzema is coming back.
Yeah, even if Martial wasn't injured, he shouldn't go.
Yo, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Let's don't get that started, yo. Martial's a G, bro. Martial's a G. Once again, Ole's making that guy look poor, yo. Ole's making that guy look piss poor. Deschamps even said it. If Martial was fit, I would have taken him. You know, because all our strikers are, apart from Mbappe, and now Benzema is in the mix now.
Do they take Dembele?
I don't think so. Because Dembele has a lot of injuries, man. Yeah. And we also have like Coleman.
Oh yeah.
We have Thuram. We have a lot of people, man. Like, I think Dembele is old news now, bro.
Jesus Christ! So many players.
Because we also have what's his name from Tottenham, Ndombele as well too.
Oh, Ndombele,
they play different roles. Yeah, but we just have enough players, bro. Like, I don't think Dembele is part of the team.
Jesus Christ!
Actually, you know what? Let me check.
That's crazy.
I know they just increased the players too, right?
Valbuena, you can take him as well. You can take.
Yeah, because they just increased the team to what, 25 people?
26, I thought.
Was it 26?
Let's see this real quick. This is a lot. You got a lot of players in this team.
Oh yeah, like France is nasty, bro. Like France is like the fantasy team, bro.
Yeah, it's like the U.S. in basketball. So you got Mbappe, Benzema, Rafael Varane, Coleman, Ben Yedder, Aouar, Fekir.
Yeah, easy.
You have Theo Hernandez. Jesus Christ Almighty.
Well, I think he's coming actually.
Kante. I haven't seen anybody else.
I think he's coming actually.
Oh, he is?
I think so. Just looking at this stuff here. What does it say?
Vigne, Griezmann.
Yeah, he's coming. Yeah, he's one of the forwards.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, he's coming. That doesn't make sense though. If Giroud's coming, then he might as well.
There's 20 French players, man. There's just
bro. Like you can feel like the French squad is basically like the City squad, yo.
It's literally a dream team. I've ever seen the dream team when they had Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Patrick Ewing, like Larry Bird. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, literally, man.
Yeah, but yeah. It'll be good Euros. Quick prediction: I'm gonna take Belgium. Sneaky pick. I'm going with Belgium.
No, Belgium's done out here, bro. Their time is gone. Gone.
Hazard's time to shine. Watch out.
Yeah. No, my prediction is definitely France. But I feel like Portugal has a huge statement to make. Yeah, I think Portugal's looking nice too, man. I'll say Portugal, and who else would I put in? Obviously, you got to put Belgium. Let's say Final Four. Let's just say semifinals would probably be. I'll say France, Portugal,
Germany.
Yeah, I'll say Germany, and did I say Belgium yet? And Belgium, yeah.
And Belgium, yeah. Top four, that's good.
Yeah. I'll say England, but I just don't trust the coach, man.
I don't trust it either.
Yeah, but it is what it is, man. Yeah, definitely been fun, guys. Like I said, please appreciate those of you that tuned in. Appreciate it. Please smash the like button, share, and yeah, we'll be back again tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, which will be 11:30 p.m. GMT UK time. So stay tuned for that. We'll be discussing the season as a whole. I'm going to be bringing in the Arsenal crew. We're going to be crying together because it looks like we're going to be sharing the middle of a table next season. So, but yeah, man, it's going to be a fun show. But it's always fun, and it's always amazing having you on. So, yeah till next time. And congratulations, man. Enjoy that win. Enjoy. Yeah, man. European champions.
Let's go.